Hello and welcome to NWTC Foundation Scholarships Writing Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about the NWTC Scholarship application through the Foundation here at NWTC. For the NWTC Scholarship, there is only one application that you have to fill out. Just by filling out this one application, you're actually going to be paired up with over 500 possible scholarships that you might qualify for. So you only have to fill out one application. Each year, and this past year, we gave out over $540,000 in scholarship dollars. Sadly, thousands of dollars go unused each year just because students do not apply. If you're enrolled in at least one credit, you are eligible to apply for scholarships. This year, the application opened March 1st and is extended to be open until April 30th. When applying for this scholarship, this will match you up with the scholarships that are available for you for the fall semester. So this scholarship application will be open again for spring. But right now, this one is just going to be talking about for fall scholarships. So I just want to let you guys know a little bit more about what you're applying for. And I will be showing you the application and how that works as well. So for the scholarship application, when you are filling out the scholarship application, there are many different donors that are giving us scholarship dollars. There are ones that are for specific programs, there are ones in memorial scholarships, and there's also employers who are giving. As you see on the screen, these are a few examples of the different scholarships that are available to students. Just wanted to give you some examples so that you could kind of see what it is that you're applying for when you do. A little bit more about how applications are chosen. Applications are read and ranked equally on a few things. Financial need, your GPA, financial and educational essays, and your letter of recommendation or your reference. So just know that applications are not based on one thing or another necessarily. If you feel your financial need isn't as great, or maybe you're worried about your GPA not being as high as you would like, please don't let that discourage you, as applications are looked and ranked equally on all of these things. A little bit more about financial need and how applications are chosen. Again, just a reminder that not all donors and not all scholarships are need-based. One thing that the application does ask is that students complete the FAFSA. We do understand that not all students may qualify for FAFSA, and it might be possible that you're not able to get financial aid, and that's okay. We just strongly ask you to fill out the FAFSA. Even if it's not a requirement for the application, we do strongly recommend it to see if you are eligible for other grants and loans, and also just so the foundation can see that you completed this. As far as your GPA, we do want to encourage students that it's very important to put your correct cumulative GPA, which is a combination of all the time you have spent here at NWTC. So not just your current semester, but from the time you've started here. If you need help finding where to find your GPA, please ask by calling Student Support Service Office at 920-498-6258, or use this PowerPoint as a reference. You can find your GPA by going into your My NWTC, clicking Academics, and click View Unofficial Transcript. If you scroll down to the bottom, you will see your cumulative GPA listed. If you do have a low GPA, do not be discouraged. You can address this in your essay. Perhaps you came to NWTC and you weren't ready to go to school. Perhaps you had some unplanned happenings such as medical emergencies or a divorce in the family. There might be different things like this going on, and we understand. So if you are concerned about that, please just feel free to address it in your essay. There are two different essay portions to the application. The first one is the financial essay. For this essay, the foundation is really only looking for 1 to 2 paragraphs about your financial situation. It is important to be specific and give enough information, but yet be concise. The bullet points listed below are simply to give you an idea of what you could include in your essay. The actual application asks you to provide information regarding your financial situation, including current employment, scholarships you have received, and special circumstances or hardships relevant to your financial need. So you can talk about things like if you're working full-time or part-time. Are you a single parent? Do you have kids? Are you receiving other scholarships? This would be a great time to include all of that information in your essay. And again, they're only looking for 1 to 2 paragraphs, so you do not need to answer all of these questions below. They are just to give you an idea of some things that you could talk about in your essay. Here are 2 examples. These are not examples that students have written. These are ones that our office has come up with on our own, but just know that these are examples that look very familiar to what we have seen written in the past. The first example in blue states, I am a single parent and pay for all of our bills and take care of all my kids by myself. I'm receiving financial aid and hope that you can give me and I would appreciate it. This would be an example that is good with explaining the financial situation, but it's really not giving us enough information. The second example states, I'm a single parent of 3 kids, ages 8, 4, and 2. I work part-time and use the money left over from financial aid to support myself and my kids. My kid's father is not in the picture and has not paid any child support. When things get financially difficult, I sometimes ask my mom for help, but many times she cannot help me as she has my little brothers and sisters to take care of. And she also lives paycheck to paycheck. Receiving a scholarship would really help alleviate my financial situation while I'm in school. This example allows for the selection committee who's reviewing the scholarships to be able to really get an overall understanding of what your financial picture looks like. You're giving enough detail so that we know what that looks like for you, but not giving too much information that's not necessary. Next, the application asks for an educational essay. Really, the foundation is just looking for 3 to 4 paragraphs explaining a few things. They ask you to describe why you chose your area of study, what your career goals are, and how a scholarship will help you achieve your goals. One thing to keep in mind is that the committee is going to be looking at many different scholarship applications. The selection committee wants to see what sets you apart from the student next to you. Everyone has their own unique story, so please feel free to share your unique story in this part of the essay. Here is an example of what you could do. For your first paragraph, a few things that you could talk about. The application asks you to describe why you chose your area of study. Some of the questions you could think about are, how did you decide on your program? What value do you place on your education? What has your path to and in college look like? What motivates you as a student? These are just a few examples of what you could talk about in your first paragraph. Please understand it's not a requirement to address all 4 of these bullet points. They are just ideas for what you could talk about. In the second paragraph, an idea would be, the application asks you to talk about what your career goals are. You could talk about your academic goals here at NWTC. You could talk about your career goals, what you would like your dream job to be when you're done here. Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20 years? Perhaps you are looking at going to UWGB after here to earn a bachelor's degree. Again, just some ideas of what you could talk about in that second paragraph. For the third and fourth paragraph, they ask you to explain how a scholarship will help you achieve your goals. Include any information about yourself that you would like the selection committee to consider when evaluating why you are a good candidate for scholarships. Again, this is where we really would like to see what your unique story is as a student. And everyone has their own story to share. You can talk about things that you may have overcome, maybe obstacles in your education, in your personal life. How do you stand out as a student, as an individual? Is there anything in your application that you want to address? This is where you could talk about a few things. Some students get discouraged that they're not able to fill out the volunteer and extracurricular activities on their scholarship application. We understand that you may be a full-time student, working, have children, whatever the case might be. It's okay that you don't have time for these activities, and you can explain that in your essay. If you're discouraged about your GPA, again, something you can address in your essay. Perhaps the first semester you didn't know what program you were interested in and you didn't do as well as you had hoped. If you're not receiving financial aid or cannot receive financial aid, again, something that you could address in your essay during this time. I do want to give you a few easy tips to remember when you are completing your application and your essays. First, it's really important to write your essay in a Word document and save it on a USB drive. As soon as you submit the application, you will no longer see your scholarship essays. So it's very important to save them so that you can use them in the future when you apply again or for other scholarships. Definitely share your unique story. You may not think you have one, but everyone has their own story to share. It's important to share this with the committee. Again, the selection committee are staff and faculty who volunteer to read the scholarship applications. They could be reading 20, 25 applications, and it's very important to write your own unique story so that you stand out. Write with confidence. Sometimes it can be really hard to talk about yourself in a good way. It's important to avoid words and phrases such as, I think I will be a good nurse. I think I will do well in college. Instead, say, I will. I will be a great nurse someday. I will succeed at NWTC. Be specific. Again, the committee does not have enough time to read through pages of essays, so it's important to keep your essays short but still have enough information. So use your words wisely. Make sure that the information that you're putting in the essay is important to know. Take your time. You have time. It is March 8th at this moment, and the application is open until April 30th. Take your time writing the essays. Take your time filling out the application. It's easy to see when a student completes the application quickly versus students who take their time on it. End on a positive note. If you're talking about hardships and obstacles you may have faced, it is great to share this information with the committee, but you also want to make sure you end positively. How did you turn these negatives into a positive? Find an editor. This is so important to have someone else review your essay. It's important to have an editor who doesn't know you like a personal reference would, such as your mother, your father, maybe your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. It's important to have someone such as a classmate, maybe an instructor, someone who maybe doesn't know you as well to read through your essay. The reason for this is that someone who does know you well might be able to fill in the blanks where in their head from knowing you where there really could be more information on the paper. If someone who's not as familiar with your story is reading your essay, they might be able to pick up on some of these questions and help you to fill in those blanks. Another important part of the application, you must have at least one reference. People to ask to be a reference. You do not want to ask, again, personal references. So you don't want to ask a friend or a family member. You want to have a professional reference. People to ask would be a teacher, an employer, a coach, your pastor, a mentor, co-workers. All you have to do is simply write down this person's name and their current email. You want to make sure to verify with your reference that they're okay with you listing their name, and you want to verify their contact information. What happens next is the reference that you list will receive an email with a short survey to answer questions on you. So it's very important that you make sure you have their correct information. If they would like, they can upload a letter of recommendation as well, but they only have to actually answer the survey questions. After you apply, you can actually log back into your scholarship application to check if your recommendation has completed this or not. It is important to make sure that your reference completes this for you, because if you don't have at least one, your application is automatically denied. Here is an example of the letter of recommendation questions. Your recommendation is going to be asked questions about your academic progress, your motivation, your attendance, your dependability, leadership, and so forth. So when choosing someone to answer these questions about you, you want to make sure that you have someone that can answer these questions to your full potential. So keep that in mind when choosing a letter of reference. If you do receive a scholarship, you will find out in late June. You will receive an email to your student account. If you do receive a scholarship, you have an awesome opportunity to attend a scholarship banquet. You will get an invitation in the mail, and this banquet you're able to get dressed up and have a fun meal and meet certain donors. You may meet the actual donor that gave you the scholarship. You have the opportunity to possibly even meet employers if employers are donors. So it's actually a networking opportunity as well. If you do receive a scholarship, at minimal, you do need to write a letter of thank you. The foundation makes it really simple for you that you can log on to your MyNWTC, and the template is already there for you to write the letter of recommendation, or I'm sorry, the thank you letter. This is really important for donors to see a thank you so that they know where their dollars went to. It just means a lot to the donor and the family. Sometimes when the scholarships are in memory of a loved one, it means even that much more. If you are on the Green Bay campus, you can feel free to drop into the lab, the writing lab, certain days and times. You'll see on the screen the drop-in lab hours and the times that the instructors are there. Please note that these hours will be unavailable during spring break. If you are not on the Green Bay campus, please talk to someone in your Welcome Center Enrollment Services area at your campus or RLC to find out who's there on campus to help you with the writing lab. Please also feel free to call Student Support Services at 920-498-5503 to get more information on where to go for help. I also want to mention some different ways to pay for college. First, I just want to wrap up on the application for the scholarship through the foundation. So we went through what the application looks like. The application looks for your personal information, and it asks for 2 different essays as well as at least 1 recommendation. To apply for the scholarship, you will log on to your MyNWTC, and under the Finance tab, you will see where it says Apply for Scholarship. The scholarship application allows you to save and come back. Again, it's important to save your essays on a separate document and on a USB drive. Then you can just copy and paste those into the application. The application itself is going to ask questions like your personal information, if you filled out the FAFSA, your cumulative GPA, and it is going to ask questions about your extracurriculars and volunteer activities. Please remember it is okay if you leave those things blank if you are not involved. If it has a red asterisk next to it, you do have to fill it out and it is required. The more information that you fill out on the application will help you to get matched up with all of the scholarships that you may qualify for. So the more information, the better. Really quickly, I just wanted to explain some other ways to pay for college. Along with applying for the scholarship application through the foundation, there are external scholarship options as well. NWTC put together a page on the NWTC website about NWTC, Foundation, and scholarships. You'll see the link on the page here. You can find a list of external scholarship opportunities. These are all separate from NWTC, so you do have to read through them individually to see which ones you may qualify for. There's also a list of scholarships that have multiple deadlines, and there are national scholarship search engines at the bottom of the page. It's important to remember that there are scholarship search engines out there that might be scams. If any of them ask for you to pay, you do not want to use those. You shouldn't have to pay money to apply for free dollars. So if you're looking for some legitimate scholarship search engines to use, please reference this page. Also, if you would like more information on additional scholarship opportunities, there are certain grants and scholarships out there through the community that might be there to help. Please feel free to contact me, Faith Lotch, the financial coach, here on the Green Bay campus in Student Support Services, SC 133 for more information. If you are not on our campus, please feel free to call me at 920-498-5503. In addition, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at 920-498-5503 or contact Student Support Services at 920-498-6258. We wish you good luck with filling out the scholarship application through the foundation. We are here to help and we care about your success. So please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.